How about among Republicans, the Republican base? This was a shocker to me. 64% of Republicans believe that tariffs will in fact cause prices to go up.
As the stock market is getting its ass kicked, the White House is calling Trump's tariffs on most of our trading partners far-reaching and profoundly important. So far-reaching, in fact, they included a remote sub-Antarctic island that has only penguins. Here he is explaining economic theory to Trump. At least he's wearing a tuxedo. It pains me, really pains me to say this, but after Trump's tariff apocalypse, Republicans are freaking, and I almost feel sorry for them.
What the hell did you just say?
Not the Republicans in Congress, who can go suck a cucumber emoji for all I care. No, I feel for the Americans who either don't understand macroeconomics or trusted the wrong people.
I believe in hate speech. When you have hate for somebody, I am 100% into speech.
But I'm also fighting this internal voice that says, hey, Trumpers, go, well, you know.
I want to play for you what the senator has said and also what a local farmer in North Carolina is saying.
Anyone who says there may be a little bit of pain before we get things right need to talk about farmers who are one crop away from bankruptcy. They don't have time.
In the long run, we're all dead. Short run matters too. Nobody knows what the impact of these tariffs is going to be on the economy.
In Western North Carolina alone, Helene caused over $2.5 billion of crop losses. These tariffs are pouring salt in a wound that is just now beginning to heal.
To that farmer, the president says what?
The president is standing up for American farmers. In fact, he was joined here at the White House yesterday by many of them. We have seen China, the Chinese Communist Party, buying up, gobbling up American farmland. The president is doing what's right for these farmers, and to our fellow Americans, we encourage them to buy American. And you look at the effectiveness of the tariffs by the investments that have poured into our country thus far. Even before the president made this announcement yesterday, he has secured trillions of dollars in investments right here in the United States of America, and he has the backs of our farmers, our workers, and our in companies as well who are choosing to invest in the United States.
Well, I mean, that woman is a farmer, and that woman says that this feels like salt in a wound that is only beginning to heal. She does not seem to want these tariffs at all. I mean, the president has acknowledged that Americans could feel some pain with these tariffs, with this announcement. How much pain is the president comfortable with Americans feeling, even on a temporary basis?
Well, again, to that a wonderful American farmer, the president has your back and he wants to protect you.
Okay, she is the face of stupid. She didn't say one word about the economics of tariffs or how they work, just sis boom ba, go Donnie. And these two guys are emblematic of what I'm talking about. Republicans knew this was a horrible idea. Even this guy who Trump tried to string up on January the 6th, Pence dropped a bomb saying the Trump tariff tax is the largest peacetime tax in U.S. history. These tariffs are nearly 10 times the size of those imposed during the Trump-Pence administration, and they're going to cost American families over $3,500 a year. A little more than that. But where have these guys been the last 90 days as Trump cut services from everyone from farmers to children with cancer?
Nathan died a few months after all these pictures were taken. But cancer research caused him to be around for another year, so his family had another year, a quality year, with him. And that is one of the reasons why I make this video. Because you see, we had a bill in Congress to prevent a government shutdown that both Democrats and Republicans agreed on until Elon Musk stepped in. They cut $190 billion from pediatric cancer research.
Trump has the U.S. fighting the world, and these guys did nothing to stop it, nothing. And it's their voters who stand to lose the most. Trump has tariffs ranging from 10 to 54% against the UK, Singapore, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, Turkey, Colombia, Argentina, El Salvador, the United Arab Emirates, the Saudis, the EU. China's paying 54%. 46% in Vietnam, Thailand 36%, Japan 24%, Cambodia 49%, South Africa 30%, Taiwan 32%, and Ukraine. Wait a second, there's a country missing. Which one is it?
Russia, if you're listening.
And what will these mean to Americans? Well, first,
terrorizing our communities.
Trump is lying. Despite Tiny Finger's previous insistence to the contrary, tariffs are paid by businesses that import tariffed goods, not the exporting country. These costs are passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. This is why economists and even pro-Trump Republicans have said tariffs are effectively a tax. Trump announced the tariffs at the Rose Garden event that lasted about an hour, during which he presented a list of these countries. Next to each country were two columns. The first was labeled Tariffs Charged to the USA. But again, the U.S. does not pay tariffs on U.S. exports tariffed by other countries. The importing entities in those countries do. CNBC said the president straight up lied when he said the U.S. is now charging tariffs at half the rate other countries charge. They made up those tariffs out of whole cloth. We now likely have the highest tariffs in the developed world, and even higher than many developing countries.
Generally speaking, this was far worse than had been anticipated, certainly by the market, which thought, and many investors I've spoken to thought it had already baked in.
I know, and
especially given the action we saw the last couple of days, the expectations. And then you had a lot of different things going around the last few days, whether it was 10% or 20% across the board or what it might be. But calling these reciprocal is not really.
We don't use that word.
We're done using that word.
We're done using that because that's just, I don't want to call it a lie. It's dissembling.
But as we all know, the real determining factor here will be the voters. And to paraphrase James Carville, it's the economy, Trump, you pustulant skin tag.
The naysayers are the majority of the American public. It's the American people who are the naysayers. Oppose new tariffs on other countries. All goods, look at this, 56% of Americans oppose new tariffs on all goods. How about cars in particular? 56% of Americans oppose new tariffs on imported cars and car parts. Look, the bottom line is the American people oppose. No. They do not want new tariffs. I looked at a ton of polling. It's really hard to find any in which you find folks supporting new tariffs, maybe against China, but against all other countries, especially our allies, no. Oppose.
So Caroline Leavitt again told Kate in that discussion that the president is laser focused on reducing prices. What do voters say that they believe the tariffs will do to prices?
What do voters believe the tariffs will do to prices? At least in the short term, tariffs will raise prices. Again, what do we get here? 72% of Americans overall say that the prices will go up in the short term. How about among Republicans, the Republican base? This was a shocker to me. 64% of Republicans believe that tariffs will in fact cause prices to go up in the near term. And get this, just 5% of Americans overall believe that tariffs, at least in the short term, will bring down prices. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know, Mr. Berman, that 72 beats 5.
So this is a huge move, and it's a huge restructuring of the global economic order, whether you like it or not. Do Americans feel like there should be, or where does this reordering of the global economic order rank for them?
Look at this. Should be a high priority for Trump. Number one, the economy at 82. Number two, inflation, 80. Look at this. Tariffs. 8 out of 8 on the list in terms of things that should be a high priority for Donald Trump at just 30%, 50 points less than inflation. Americans want simply put nothing to do with it, yet Trump decides to keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Right or wrong, I think it is safe to say this is a huge political risk he is taking.
100%. This could be a risk that ends up ending his presidency, in my mind.
Economists and basically anyone with a double-digit IQ is trying to explain the danger of Trump's actions. They must feel like the scientists did when Trump said this.
Where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
So the question is, why is Trump trying to create a worldwide recession? Why did Trump impose tariffs on Ukraine, but not Russia? Who is advising him on this? And the biggest question of all, what will the Republicans do next?
Terrorizing our communities? Are your leaders incompetent, unqualified people compromising national security?
Yes!
Goddamn right.
Elon!
They had what? Bloated and fat and disgusting.
I like that.
We're a nation that speaks English.
Back and look, if something like this, that thing's start goggling.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes!
Tick-tock!
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.